Episode 3 of the All Marlins podcast. It's been a while. We are back and we have a lot to talk about. Baseball is back, Marlins baseball is back, and not so much the front office, but we'll get to that one in a bit. We have some special guests joining us, and let's bring them all in. We got Kevin Barral from Kano's. Uh, K- Fuck me.
Just say fish
KO,
tripe.
KO Sports Corner member Kevin Barral, also a member of Fish Stripes. We also have Jesus joining us, a very nice guy to talk to. He knows his Marlins baseball. And we also have another good friend of mine, Landius, joining us in this one. It's great to have you guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well, John, but not so well with how this team is being run right now.
I agree with you. There's quite a lot of topics to touch on. Um,
hmm
you know, you know, last time we did a video, it was our Marlins all-time roster. And by the way, if you haven't checked it out, I will put that link in the description. It's a great watch. You guys will definitely have a fun time watching that video. It's pretty long, but it's got some nice old names, some nice nostalgia in that clip, and a crap ton of special guests. You guys need to check it out. Fish Stripes, Fish on the Farm. Kevin was also a part of it, and you can even let us know who had the best roster. But before anything, let's get straight into this video, and we'll begin with this man right behind me.
We will be trading potentially players. More importantly, we will be trying to sign free agents. We have money and we will spend it. How we spend it is up to Kim and all the baseball operations people. All I can tell you has been on the phone 24/7 with the entire baseball operations staff over the last week.
It's it's crazy, and as an owner, at first when you listen to something like that, it seems encouraging. It makes you as a fan want to know and feel some sense of positivity that the team actually cares. The team is committed to win. The team wants to, actually put some time into actually building a team who could compete with a very tough division. Kevin, what do you think on that?
You know, I wish I was in the position to say he's lying, but I really can't. Um, you gotta believe the guy. You can't believe him really at the same time, but we gotta trust him. This is the
Mm,
first time I think he's really spoken about the baseball side of things, if I'm correct, when it comes to spending money, making moves, and we were talking about this off stream, in such an important off season for the Marlins when it comes to making moves and pretty much, we've heard Craig reiterate this. They need to win. They need to win, and that's the plan. And if you don't do that this season, I wouldn't be shocked if Donnie's fired unless he's extended, I think, to 2023. And big moves are made. And he said big. And, we already saw him with Jeter, and I guess we'll touch up on that since you haven't done it on the pod yet. But
mm,
I'm very excited to see what Sherman's got to do. But at this moment, like me, like all of us in here, Craig Mish himself said it on the spaces. Everyone who's in that spaces last night, they're frustrated, man. Every day on Twitter, we're seeing the same thing, and we'll get into the moves that other teams are making because it's in our own division. We just lost Kenley Jansen, man. We lost Colin McHugh. We lost all these guys, and it's just such a stressful time to be a Marlins fan, knowing that they're only focusing on one position, but then the other one that's a big need right at the moment. We're losing it right now. I mean, look at all the guys that have signed, and although the Kenley Jansen deal I think was a little bit of an overpay, you know, I really hope he's going to live up to that word of saying he wants to spend money. And I really don't know what to say because I don't even know if to believe Sherman or not at this point. It's just such a tough situation as a Marlins fan. And from the media side, there's not much content to cover. There's not much really. All you could really talk about is Brian Reynolds at this point coming to be a Miami Marlins. So
mm.
we'll see what happens, John. Man, I'm excited because if they do make a move and it happens now on the pod, you never know if it happens mid pod. Does have happened a couple times, so we'll see. But they did make some moves, and then there was also a game today that we have to get to as well.
That's right. That's right. By the way, thank you for joining us here in this one.
Got
You
it.
know, like Craig said many times on that Spaces that you mentioned. You can't blame the fans. There's been instances where the fans kind of overreact, but you can't really blame them in this current stage of the game. I mean, the Marlins are in a position where they could legitimately bring wins back to Miami. They could put themselves back on this map, but there hasn't so far been any signs of that. It's just been a complete shutdown. I don't know what's going behind closed doors, but they haven't committed to any particular moves. What do you want to add on that, Landius?
I mean, the whole off season up to this point just speaks for itself.
Hmm? Hmm?
It
It's true.
like I don't know what I could say that could possibly add to this conversation that you guys haven't said already, but I can tell you one thing is for sure, it's not a good look.
Hmm? And you're exactly right. As easy as it sounds, it's just it's incredible to see all these other teams in the division actually stack up. They want to win. All these other teams are adding assets that could make them legitimate winners. Maybe not first place, but hey, expanded playoffs is back. The Marlins made it with expanded playoffs. Sure, it was a shortened season, but these guys are taking advantage of that. Are the Marlins taking advantage of that right now? No, they're not. And it's saddened to see that. Um, there you go on the screen. Kim Ming spoke today to the media.
This was just
Uh,
now, by the way. This was pretty much just right now.
wow, this is breaking. There's a lot of stuff that this front office is tackling, which they haven't really. But Kim Ming says ideally we want a center fielder who is an offensive threat. That would be our primary objective. If that's not attainable, and you're not going to mortgage the future for one, I think you're going to have to go to Plan B. And
Now, and I'll say this, just looking at that quote, and I'll put it back up on the screen.
yeah,
Read the final part of this one more, starting on the word if that's not attainable, and you're not going to mortgage the future equaling Yuri Perez, Max
hmm,
Meyer, J.J. Bleday, Peyton Burdick, Dax Fulton, the whole top 15 in that minor league system,
a highly touted farm system.
you're going to have to go to Plan B. It's Plan B Ramon Laureano. It's Plan B Jorge Soler. It's Plan B even Nick Castellanos for them. I mean, we all know what Plan A is. Let's be honest, John and everyone else in here. It's Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds is their number
Yeah,
one guy. That's who
yeah.
they want. That's not going to happen.
I
Brian
don't think
Reynolds
so
is
either.
such a perfect fit for what Pittsburgh is trying to do. 4 years of control. Now, if he had maybe 1 or 2 years, this trade wouldn't be what we're talking about right now, which with all these big name prospects, maybe it would be Max Meyer and another one. That's it, in my opinion, at least.
Mm,
But just for to hear what Takes said yesterday, Takes were made. Great guy,
mm.
and you'll get him on some point on the pod. He's super cool dude. You know, he said Max Meyer, Yuri Perez, and I think someone else. I think it was like a Jose Salas. Craig said that was the starting point. If that's the starting point, imagine the deal that Jeter vetoed right before the lockout. That must have been probably one of the biggest prospect hauls the Marlins have given up in a while.
That's a perfect way to put it, and it's self-evident out at one point or the other. Jeter ended up leaving this team, and what if something, some sort of disclosure between both parties, aka Sherman and Jeter, just didn't agree on the willingness to pay, and that's where we come back to this topic right here of this gentleman who came out bragging that the team has money and the team has this and the team has that and they're gonna trade guys here and there and they're gonna like build a team and they're a good organization. Well, you know the story. That it's
Just for
literally
reference, John pointed at Isaac, but he's talking about Bruce Sherman.
no, this guy's a legend right there. But Isaac's face says it all. Isaac's face says it all. It tells the big story. He's he's BSing. Literally, he's BSing. He's either trying to show that he's either trying to close something on the whole Jeter thing because that was obviously a question that he was going to get thrown at. What do you think about the whole Jeter thing? He was going to say, "Oh, we have money." It's not because of the money that he left. He just left because we kind of disagreed on something. What if it's something that he's trying to address to the fans? Baseball was back, and not a lot of people were expecting the Marlins to make a move at that time yet. But it's been what, 5 days since it happened? What do you think, Jesus?
I just think that there's no real sense of urgency with making any acquisitions because
Mhm.
you say that you have the money, you say you want to spend it, you want to sign these free agents, you want to make trades, but so far nothing has happened. Yeah, just a couple of minor league deals, and that's it. There's no sense of urgency. Everybody else is getting taken off the board, and we're not showing any sense of urgency towards getting anybody so much as even having interest in anybody.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
last thing I'll say is let's look at it like this. Right before the lockout, Jeter was still Marlins CEO. We made moves. You know, we got Avi, Joey Wendell, Stallings. Jeter leaves, nothing has happened. Not a single thing. We've gotten Roman, Quinn, Williams, Astudillos, which we'll get into later because some of those pieces could actually be pretty damn good. But, you know, if that's the trend that you're going on right now, that's pretty, that's pretty bad. And Craig said it, he's confident that the center fielder still isn't on the roster, nor is the closer, which I'll believe Craig because Craig is probably one of the most you could believe Craig in everything he's saying. And I love
Mhm.
Craig. Craig's a great guy. We talk all the time. Cool dude. I believe him. I think we all should. Craig is the GOAT of Marlins Twitter when it comes to breaking news. So let's trust it. Let's wait. And there's also good news to talk about, which we'll let you go into, John.
Yeah. Let's move on. Topics here. Obviously that was the biggest thing of the whole story, especially for the fan side of things. Let's get
Yeah.
to today. Spring training is back. The Marlins beat the Nationals 8-3, and they had one hell of a game. Jazz Chisholm going yard, really popping the bat, sending it to straightaway center for a 3-run shot. Lorenzo Quintana, that's a very interesting name. He's a potential, catcher option that the Marlins could utilize in case one of the guys that start, whether being Stallings, Fortes, whoever else they try to use in the opening day roster, get hurt or something. He's obviously an option that they could try. He's getting already to that later age limit where it's like what, 32 years old, 33. He's an option. He's an option, and his bat, sure, it's very early into spring, but it's shown off. It's shown off. He's a great option that this team could potentially use as a future piece. What do you think? What other notes do you have in today's game, Kevin?
I mean, Sandy.
Oh yeah. Mm.
You know, 3 innings is not much, but 3 perfect innings. No
Mm.
hits, no runs, nothing. And then just Jacob Stallings back out there, got a nice RBI, already proving that. And, I found it very interesting. He was the second guy in the lineup. Second guy in the
Mm.
lineup. Very interesting. Usually you would see him in the fifth or the sixth spot.
Mm.
That's where we all expect him to go. But hey, if he's producing in that second spot, hell
It's
yeah. I
good
mean,
news.
that's good. And, for Sandy pitching such a perfect game, Stallings definitely had to do with that. I know our good buddy Alex Carver said not really, but Sandy's a damn good pitcher. Now with Jacob Stallings being maybe one of the best framers in the league, one of the best guys to get you that strike zone, who could expand a little bit more. I'm in love with Jacob Stallings and that signing or the not signing the trade. Another name to keep out, yeah, Lorenzo Quintana. Great night for him for
Mm.
great first impression. I don't think he's going to be on the Miami Marlins opening day roster, unfortunately, but as a good option in AAA, not too shabby. I'll take it. Very impressive name, Brian Miller. Got
Mm.
two at bats, 2 hits, already showing that he could get it done. 2 stolen bases as well. Jazz got a very, very impressive home run. That pitch was completely out of the strike zone, and he got really into that pitch. Just that's pretty much about it. The Marlins showed that they could get offense. John Birdie back out there looks good. He had his injury. Cody Poteet, another guy who was injured, was out there. Castano struggled a little bit, but I'll let you guys analyze the rest of this game. I think I already went to pretty much all of it.
I think Landius mentioned earlier before the pod that Bender looked a little bit iffy. What do you have on that?
Well, there were reports that Bender came into camp and threw a good 2 or 3 miles per hour harder than he did last year.
Mm.
So I was very excited to see him come and pitch based off of those reports. Um, he was a little wild today. I'm gonna be real here. 2 walks and a wild pitch.
Yep. Definitely something he could fix along the way. This is a point in time. It's very early into spring. This is the perfect time for players to make those mistakes. But definitely something to take note, especially if you're trying to keep up with the team. But yeah, you said it. You said it. I want to touch on a little subtopic. We mentioned Jacob Stallings. Let's talk about the impact that this guy is going to have on this team. You know, if he's working really well with Sandy Alcantara, and Alex said it earlier pre-pod as well. Sandy is Sandy. He's gonna work well no matter who you put in the backstop. But Jacob Stallings, I mean, that guy, not only can he work with our aces, he will be working with the young guys like Jesus Luzardo and the Max Myers and the Edward Cabreras. What do you have on that, Jesus? Do you think Stallings is undoubtedly going to be a game changer when it comes to working with these guys?
I think undoubtedly yes.
Hmm.
He has the ability to work well with these guys, and he's going to bring out the best of them this year for sure. Um, I see him as like another Real Muto
Hmm?
in this team.
Maybe not offensively, but I know what you mean
Not
in terms of
offensively.
like working with like the framing.
Defensively,
Yes.
yeah, I'll agree with the defense.
The
Offensively,
defense,
no.
yes, but the
Real
offense,
Muto's
no.
probably undoubtedly the best offensive player
Oh yeah.
as a catcher in his position,
Yeah.
and he's the best catcher in the game. There's no
Hmm?
doubt about it. You can
Hmm?
make the argument that Stallings is the best defensive catcher in the game. You
Yeah.
can definitely make that argument as he won a Gold Glove. The guy had a record for not allowing pass balls. The Marlins allowed a lot of those this past season. So Stallings is such a damn good catcher. I mean, I wanted Wilson Contreras because of how he provided both. The arm, the bat. But Jacob Stallings is a really good option for a guy who has art. I think we have control with him. You can check this, John. I think for 3 more years, if I'm correct.
Stallings, I
And
think it's two.
two, okay.
Hmm.
And you're pretty much getting those. You have 2 years to develop Joe Mack a little more, who I
Hmm?
love the guy. Very impressive game, by the way, against the Mets in the minor league. He had a nice RBI. You also have time to develop Nick Fortes. You have Peyton Henry. Alex Jackson could get the hell out of Miami, no offense. That's about it. That's about it. That's all I got.
Hey,
You do
another
bring up
name.
Nick Fortes. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
You do bring up Nick Fortes. Like he is a catcher you should probably keep an eye on because if
100%.
um if he can pick up on Jacob Stallings' work ethic,
Oh yeah.
that could mean a lot.
And there was
I
That's
also
a great point.
reports.
That's a great point.
There was also reports of Nick Fortes before he was called up in the September call-ups last season that Fortes, um, great defensive catcher. There was even things going out saying um that he doesn't really allow too many pass balls. He did allow a couple in when he came up, but definitely
Yeah.
if he takes those perks from Stallings, we have a nice underrated catching depth in this team's backstop. For once, it'll be the first best catching set that we've had since possibly, man, it's been
What?
a
Who was
while.
it in? Who was it in? When who was the backup catcher for Mewtwo? Was it Santi?
I think it was Jeff Mathis.
Mathis at
No.
one point, but it was
We
Holiday at one point.
Ryan
it was
Holiday,
Wallach was there.
Chad
Wallach.
Wallach too.
Wallach, we had Wallach, we had Thomas Talise for a while.
Oof.
There's some names.
Those are some names. You said it, and man, it's a nice breath of fresh air to see a catching, a catching a spot in this team that's finally a little bit more solidified in from past years. Anything else you want to add on that before we move on?
Yeah. The only thing I'll
Jesus.
say is the Marlins went from having one of the worst catches in the league. No offense to Jorge Alfaro. The guy just hit a 3-1 bomb today in
Yeah,
spring training.
yeah.
And he's gonna be really good in San Diego. I'll say that right now. Cervelli's there. He's on a winning team. The motivation's there, and we spoke about that with Brinson, which we won't get into because that'll get the pod way too long. But we went from one of the worst catching situations of having Sandy Leon and Jorge Alfaro to having Jacob Stallings as their starting catcher, a top 5 catcher in the league, maybe even top 3. And then you go to your backup catcher and a young and trying to get proven Nick Fortes, who I
Right.
was lucky to be at his first game with Isaac, hit an absolute bomb. He did have the pass balls, and he caught Eddie Cabrera, a young guy who technically he has a lot of experience catching for Eddie Cabrera, as he was his catcher in Double A Pensacola. So just a little, a little throw in there. But yes, I love Nick Fortes. I believe he should be the backup catcher, but I'm gonna go to my sources here, and this was before lockout. This was, I think, right before the offseason. The source told me that they were planning on having some kind of catching competition, and Alex Jackson would win it either way. But I doubt it. I want it to be Fortes, and I think it should be.
I agree with you. It's got to be Fortes. Dude
But
was.
Alex Jackson has minor league options. Just keep that in mind. So that
Mm,
definitely factors in.
yeah, it fits right into place. If personally, I would use those options. In fact, I wouldn't even have him in the team anymore. I'd boot him. But you know,
They're
Peyton
not going to do
Henry.
it. Christina Di Nicola, on Fish Stripes Live, kind of dunked on me, and when I said they should cut him, and she said no, that's not going to happen.
Well,
She kind of backed them up. I'll keep it at that.
that's interesting. That's interesting. I like Henry. I think Henry is going to be a nice.
Peyton Henry, yeah. Good defensive guy.
Hmm?
Defensively oriented.
Let's touch on the minor league signings that this team had. There was a couple and names that probably you haven't heard of before. Well, the Marlins first uh, signed Roman Quinn to a minor league deal in the for the outfield depth. Um, you know, that's a guy who you could compare easily to Magneuris Sierra. What do you want to touch on that, Jesus? Like, do you think this is an upgrade? Do you think this is a downgrade? Do you think the Marlins kind of kept it right there, or do you think he edges him out just by a bit? What do you think?
I think this is probably more for depth. I
Hmm.
I really
Absolutely.
I really do not see Roman Quinn being on the roster. He could make
Yeah.
the roster obviously because he has played before in the
Mm.
majors with the Phillies, but with the outfielders right now on the major league level that the Marlins have, I don't think it's much of an upgrade from Sierra, and I don't see him getting that many games in this year.
Definitely, Sierra was undoubtedly the most disappointing hitter in the Marlins for the past year or 2 years, rather.
Hmm.
Um, Anything else we could touch on Quinn? I think that's about it. I want to touch on
We may
Landius for
we
this
may
next
we may
guy.
have some breaking news.
Oh, throw it up.
If you go on Castellanos Twitter, I mean not Twitter, Instagram, his latest post that literally just came out like 10 minutes ago is him sitting in the Philadelphia skyline in the city.
Oh, there it is. There it
That
is,
may be
guys.
it. That may be it. Now, I'm not sure. Thank you to Isaac for sending me the picture. But that can only mean one thing, and the man is he's going to Philly. That's what I think. But we'll wait for it to be official, and let's just keep going with these minor league signings.
Yeah. Wow. That's news.
It was expected. It was expected.
Really is.
Another team, and we'll get into it because the rivals got good.
Oh
So we'll
yeah.
get into it later.
Yeah, moving on to the minor league signings. I know it's quite the change. It went from Nick Castellanos to this next guy I'm gonna mention. Let's talk about La Tortuga. Williams Astudillo, Landius, what do you got
Look
on
at
him?
him. Look at La Tortuga, bro.
Well, before I get to the man, the meme himself, I would like to throw in one comment about. I would like to throw in one comment about Roman Quinn, and it's just
Yeah,
a
go for
short
it.
one.
Yeah.
He is basically an older Magneuris Sierra.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
all I have to say.
And I would say better, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit
Today
better.
in spring training, that guy has some speed.
Yeah.
He does.
He has some speed. He I think it was on the Stallings RBI. It was RBI double. He started on first, ended in home. Just keep that in mind. Max did it too, but I don't know. I like Roman Quinn's base running. It's pretty damn good. But yeah, just continue with La Tortuga.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see.
So for Latatori, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his name. Like I like him as he's a great meme. I do like him as a player. The thing is, in my opinion, he's a little too similar to Jorge Alfaro.
In the hitting
He
perspective.
is a free swinger. His
Yep.
defense is not really the best.
Yeah.
And if you look at his walk rate, it's even lower than Alfaro's.
Hmm. Man. No, we
Now,
saw that guy. He
the
got
thing I'll
released
say
by
with
the Twins last year.
the thing I'll say with La Tortuga is that right after he signed, Craig Mish came with a report that he actually has a chance to make the roster. Unlike Quinn, I don't know if you saw the report, but he actually has a chance to make the major league team this season, and I think that's a very, very good addition. I don't
Hmm.
care if he's fat. I don't care if he's not that good. The guy puts the ball in play and he hits absolute dingers.
Hmm.
Not even that. He could play every single position, even catcher, which is very impressive. You could throw him at third. You could put him as a defensive substitution towards the end of the game. You could even put him as a DH. I'd be more confident with him than a Devin Moreira or a Isan Diaz or any of those guys. And to have him on a minor league deal, it's pretty damn good. This is probably the best minor league signing out of all of them. Although I do like the Shield signing, which we'll get into probably at the end, which was the most recent one.
Yeah.
I'm a little high on Sean Armstrong too, but we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, moving on to the next person, I want to have Kevin touch on this one. Jimmy Yacabanis. I mean, wow, what a name.
I really have no idea what to say about this guy. Thankfully, Craig Mish's son, Hayes Mish, broke the news to us.
You
The
sure did.
GOAT, the GOAT, officially the youngest man on Marlins Twitter. I think that was me, and not now it's Mish's son. So I'm glad to pass the torch down. But I don't know. Jimmy Acabona seems like an interesting guy. I don't know how much. I don't think he will really get into the Marlins bullpen. I don't think there's much there. I described it on the TikTok video as underwhelming. Not really
Hmm.
much there. Pitched I think 2 games for Seattle. Gave up a RBI to Mark Canha, which is the only actual highlight that you could find about this guy
Wow.
in the rain. I think he also pitched with Baltimore, if I'm correct. He had some time there. Not much to say. I think Sean Armstrong's probably the better one out of the two.
Before we touch on Sean Armstrong, so we could give that one to Landius, let's give this one to Jesus. Today, the Marlins acquired. Oh well, not acquired. They signed Delino De Shields Jr. to a minor league deal with an invite to spring
Man,
training as well. What do you got on him? You could touch on this one too, Kevin, if you want to after.
definitely.
Well, I know Kevin thinks it's a good signing, but I just don't see it because if you already acquired a guy like Roman Quinn to a minor league deal and you have all these outfielders already at the major league level, then what use could the Shields be? I mean, you DFA Monte Harrison to sign another outfielder to a minor league deal when we could be pursuing better.
Hmm.
Yeah, I see where you mean, but I think the thing with the Shield, you can check this, John, is that he's a natural center fielder. This guy entered the league as center fielder. He was always a center fielder, unlike Roman Quinn, that he's played pretty much all 3 parts of the outfield. And with the Shields, is he has a lot more power, a lot more power. I mean, this guy, and he's pretty damn quick. There's this highlight of him getting an inside the park home run. No issues. Ran the bases, no issues. This man didn't have to slide into home or anything. It should have been a home run. It was very damn close. Another power player, I think maybe even Lone Depot could have been a homer. But Delano De Shields Jr. could definitely be a good signing. I don't think he'll be on the Marlins roster anytime soon, but you know, we'll get into the move with Monte. That's probably to replace him right there, and
Right.
it's a pretty nice replacement. Also, a veteran. I mean, he was in the Yankees organization. He did actually play in the MLB this year in the big
Hmm.
leagues. He was with the Reds, and not even that, he had a pretty promising rookie season. Finished seventh in the rookie of the year voting, just for a little more of a inside there on the Shields. I like the signing, man. Is this the center fielder that the Marlins are going to roll with?
Absolutely
Hell,
not.
hell no, it better not be. If it is, I am very excited to announce that I will be going into minor league baseball from now on.
You're exactly right, and it's perfectly okay to have that have that in mind. But We'll see. We'll see. There's still time for the Marlins to change our minds, but in the current state, it's not looking good. And last but not least, Landis, I know you wanted to touch on our other minor league signing, being Sean Armstrong. What do you got on him?
Well, Armstrong played with, I think, the Baltimore Orioles and
Yep,
the Tampa
correct.
Bay Rays last season. He got absolutely lit up in Baltimore. Then once he arrived in Tampa Bay, he looked like a different pitcher.
Hmm?
I don't know if it was because they were playing him in mostly low leverage
No,
situations.
there it is. Castellanos to the Phillies.
Oh
John Henry.
wow, unreal!
God damn it, dude.
Yeah,
Wow,
sounds on brand.
Worst outfield in the MLB, by the way, defensively.
wow, that's crazy. We'll touch on Castellanos now that
Oh no, we're definitely getting into that because Ken Liddell also signed. So,
let's touch on that in right after the Armstrong. But
and I
yeah,
want to
go
know
for
what
it,
that
Landis.
deal is. I really want to
Yeah,
know what the deal is.
yeah. Once we get the details, we'll touch on that one. But go for it, Landis.
Anyways, Sean Armstrong arrived in Tampa Bay and looked better,
Hmm?
like a lot better. Like he figured out things in Tampa Bay. I don't know if it was because they were putting him in low leverage situations. I haven't looked at that yet, but he had fewer walks and a much higher strikeout rate.
All right, all right. So
And
This is
I,
let's
I
touch.
actually
looked up I looked up
now
his
say
intangibles. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you could go.
I looked up his intangibles. 2021, he had an average fastball velocity of 94, which isn't terrible. It's not.
All right.
The
Pretty
thing I'll
nice
say
there.
with Sean Armstrong is, I think he does have a big chance to get into this Marlins bullpen. Craig Mish said that. I think it was Craig. Yeah, it was Craig. You never know. At this point, it could be Hayes or Craig. You never know. But no, Craig mentioned him specifically to be a big chance to get into this bullpen. And if we see Tampa Bay Sean Armstrong, I'm excited.
Pretty nice piece, right? Pretty nice
Yeah.
piece. I
And
agree
a,
with
a
that.
nice under the radar sighting, if I must say so myself. The only knock on him is that he gave up 10 home runs last season.
In
That's
how many
even
games?
including the Rays.
In how many games?
Let me look at it again.
Because that does depend. If he played like what, 60, 70 games, it's not horrible. If he played like
31
20,
games.
30, Jesus, that's really bad. Yeah.
That's
He got
pretty
lit up.
bad.
He got lit up.
He really did. Here's the thing though, like he was playing mostly in the AL East in a hitter-friendly ballpark most of the season.
Baltimore's very hitter friendly, correct?
That is true.
Yes.
That is very true.
And he is going to move into Lone Depot Park, which is a lot less stressful when it comes to allowing home
Oh yeah,
runs.
absolutely.
If he makes the roster, keep that in
Mhm.
mind. Yes, this is why spring training is so crucial because guys like, we'll get into first base because that is definitely a position that we have to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
an eye out. But bullpen's going to be very crucial to see how they go. And tonight was pretty well. Besides Castano getting shook up there a little bit and allowing 2 runs, I think Poti gave up 1, but I think they counted to Castano. Pretty good.
Yeah. So that pretty much covers the more or less so far what we have of minor league signings. We're gonna touch real quick on this other move that the Marlins made, and that is Monte Harrison. I mean, came from that Christian Yelich trade back in 2018.
He shows that picture.
Yeah, I mean he was an exciting player. Lots of upside on that guy. Lots of he's an athlete. He's an athlete. He played a bunch of sports back in his college and high school days. His brother is in the NBA. Unfortunately, just couldn't get it together. I also feel like when looking back, I don't think that the team gave him a legitimate chance. And when they did, it came out of very unfortunate circumstance. He had that dispute with the teammate. We're not gonna really touch on that too much, but that does account into the vision and what the Marlins are trying to build as far as a good clubhouse goes. What would you guys like to touch on that? I'm gonna start with Jesus.
Um, I think, like you said, he's an athlete. We didn't
Mhm.
give him much of a chance when we did. You know, um, I just don't think he was good hitting wise.
Right.
That was a bit of his downside, but at the end of the day, I don't think that we should have DFA'd him. I think we probably should have pushed to try and trade him.
Mm, right. Maybe try to see if there was some sort of value left in him because,
Yeah.
any team probably right now would probably look back and say, wow, I mean, this guy, they didn't really give him a shot. Maybe we could and fill up a roster, especially with now these minor league free
But
agents signing and stuff.
but then that doesn't make sense either because why trade a guy that probably has zero value in my opinion?
Mm,
You can just let him go through waivers. A team will claim him. Why trade away a prospect that could probably be pretty damn good? You never know. Some of these guys are really damn good. And after talking to Carver, you never know who could be a really good prospect. Look at Yuri. Yuri got probably the least amount of signing bonus or money out of any of these guys, and he's probably the best prospect. In my opinion, he's
mm,
the best prospect in the Marlins org.
yeah. Anything on that, Landius, for Monte? Any last
Um,
words, maybe?
I will thank him for scoring the playoff clinching run for us in
Yeah,
2020, and
yeah, that's right.
that was the only positive contribution he had to our team.
Okay, yeah. So, at the end of the day, Monte, uh, thanks for pretty much what you did in your very short tenure. Even though it was pretty long and lengthy, but in a Marlins uniform, it was pretty short. Um, Also, the Marlins alongside, it's surprising they actually made more moves than I thought. The Marlins went out and got a reliever from the Phillies out of waivers,
No,
Yohan Lopez. Would you like to
Yohan
touch on
Lopez.
that?
Interesting guy. He played I think 10 games with the Phils. Didn't do much. He got lit up. 6.17 ERA.
Hmm.
Um, Not much after that. Pitched a couple seasons in Tampa. Overall, low ERA, 3.17, 2 something. I don't think he's pitched over 20 games in the MLB or over 60. You could check that up, John. I know you're probably doing that right now, but interesting guy. He's on the 40 man, so they're high on him.
Right.
Is this the big bullpen signing? It better not be, because I don't know who will be. We'll get into that. Very interesting signing though. And then that Monte move goes into the Shields move, which happened literally seconds after. So, um, interesting signing. I'll keep it at that. I mean, not much to say on him.
No, yeah. Yohan Lopez maybe provide some depth to this team. Who knows? Let's talk about trades. The Marlins look. We're looking into trades. Craig Mish, um, spoke about
Whoa! Holy shit!
another move.
5 years, 100 mil for Castellanos. Marlins were never in hell going to do that.
That's
We dodged a
crazy.
Hey,
bullet.
that
We
guy was an MVP candidate this year. I
Mm-hmm.
would say
we honestly dodged a bullet.
No,
I would have taken him. But
I would have taken him at this point because haven't done anything. We haven't done anything. But we'll touch on Castellanos towards the end of the stream. Um.
Jorge Soler confirmed. Watch.
Oh boy. Yeah. Moving on to someone who could probably make a bigger impact than Jorge Soler is this man right here. Do you think that there still exists a chance where Miami could capitalize and get this guy on this team? I mean, obviously he has 3 years of control left with the
That's,
Pirates. He might work with whatever the Pirates are trying to do right now, which is build a winner.
I
Obviously in
thought it
that
was
rebuild,
4.
3 to 4. Yeah, yeah, that's right, that's right. Um, who would you be willing to throw out there? Do you think Yuri Perez is movable? Do you think, um, maybe we should kind of be a little bit more conservative with our prospects? What's going on? What do you think, Kevin?
It's such an interesting type of trade that the Marlins could do. It looks like they had something. Mish said it was gonna hurt the farm system badly. Jeter vetoed. So after the veto, you obviously got to think. You know,
Yeah.
asking price goes up. You're probably asking Yuri Meyer. Salas. I would even be surprised if they want Watson as well. It's just too much to give up at this point. I don't think it gets done. Um, I love Brian Reynolds. He's the perfect fit for Miami. 4 years of arbitration. You have 4 years to get a contract extension
Right,
done.
right, right.
4 years, and just keep that in mind. So, very interesting player. I hope he does come to Miami because he would make this team an 80-win team easily. Not an 87-win team. No, none of that stuff. And I know we talked about that prior, but 80-win team, and you're fighting for the playoffs. That's how I see it. Expanded playoffs helps Miami, and it would with Brian Reynolds,
It really
and
would.
and it would bring fans to the stadium. You would put out a winning product, and that ties into Derek Jeter and to Sherman, the work they've done. But we'll just keep it at that to make this
Mm.
pod because we're already 40 minutes in, and we still probably have another 40 minutes to talk about stuff.
Right, right, right. Really quick, what do you want to add on to that, Jesus?
Um, I think we should definitely go after Brian Reynolds, but it's like Landia said off stream. He said that we prospect hug, which is very true. We are planning for the future instead of acquiring players for right now.
Mm.
You are on what, year 5, 6 of the rebuild, and we're still not good enough. So I don't know what is it that we are waiting for. The clock's ticking. The players are getting signed. You saw with Castellanos now. That's another option lost. So
Yep, yep.
I feel like they just need to go for it. They need to take the risk to trade a couple of prospects and get Brian Reynolds, who is an all-star, who was an all-star last year. I feel like if he comes to Miami, he can replicate it here. And of course, like Kevin said, you can make us an 80-win team. Maybe get us just a bit past the 500 mark.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely right. Landius, anything on Reynolds before we move on?
Like I know it sounds kind of ridiculous when I threw out 87 wins, um, because I the way I see it, like if the Marlins had gotten a legit like closer or a legit like elite like eighth, seventh, eighth inning arm, um, and they acquired Brian Reynolds, and most of their hittings, most of their like lineup goes back on track because I'm going to be real, most of the lineup last year, most of the lineup regressed.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's a bold claim for me to say, but I really do think Brian Reynolds would make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Huge
And
It would.
difference.
It would. It would put Miami from a team that's in the middle of the pack to we're competing. We're a
Right.
playoff team. We're a contender. We're a scary team. Top five to rotation in the MLB. And you could quote me. You could say whatever you want. I think the Marlins have a top five, top seven
I agree.
rotation.
I agree.
Three-headed monster. And Jesus Christ, 100 million. Keep
He
looking at
he
that
is
number.
our guy.
And not only that,
But the thing
with
that's pissed me off, and that'll get into our next topic probably,
yeah,
is the Marlins don't focus on more spots, and we're looking at how players are going. Castellanos, Jansen, McHugh. Come on, like if at this point you're gonna prospect tug, just go after and make other moves, man. Like it's it really is annoying. It's not even like serious. It's just annoying at this point. Even Craig Mish is annoyed at it. He's frustrated.
I don't
Come
blame him. I don't.
you see the Phillies get here, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. The Braves getting Matt Olson on a very good deal. You get Kenley Jansen, Colin McHugh. The Mets getting Scherzer, Marte. And the Marlins are here getting, Delino DeShields Jr., Williams Astudillo, and Roman Quinn. That's the future of the team? Hell no. Come on, man. They got to make moves. Um, I'm hoping it happens, man, because if we could get a Soler and Loriano and Trevino, I'll take it. We're not an 81 team, 77, 76, around that area. That's
Mm.
pretty good.
No, and not only are we not making moves, this division is just getting better. It's getting multiplied. It's just getting way better. Nick Castellanos, as we've been freaking out over it, and we've been sadly covering another topic meanwhile. But the topic of conversation right now is that Nick Castellanos is a Philly, and he is signing for 5 years, 100 mil,
The jersey
just to
looks good
make
on him.
things
I'll say
worse.
that.
Yeah, he does. He does. He looks really good on in Philly's red. He was a
Unfortunately,
Cincinnati red. Um, I want to touch on Castellanos personally. I was a guy who wasn't really that huge on the Castellanos move. I do think he would have provided maybe a firework away in away for the fish. That not too much at home, maybe solid, but not crazy like he was in Great American Ballpark. Definitely, he's going to provide those type of numbers in Citizens Bank Park. Citizens Bank Park tends to be a little bit more friendlier to the hitters. Um, Castellanos to the Phillies, I mean, it's crazy. We weren't able to capitalize. We were a finalist and we didn't capitalize. It's been the moral of the story for the Marlins this post lockout offseason. We haven't capitalized. Period. No Chafin, no Tepera, no Kenley, no Castellanos. What's next? No Conforto either.
he's not
I
gonna be a
mean, I don't think so either. I
The
don't. I don't
Mets, if I'm correct, the Mets probably offered him, I think, after his 2019 season, 5 years. It was the same exact contract, 5 years, 100 mil,
It
and
didn't
he
take
said
it.
no. No,
Wow.
I
Wow.
think it was five, and then I think 5 years, 120. He's
For
asking for
Conforto.
that. If he's asking for that, an extension, obviously, it was an
Right.
extension. That
That's
says a lot.
crazy. That's crazy.
Now, I don't
And
think
I
he's up
need
to
to
that value
remind
because
you.
he had a very underwhelming season, I would say,
Yeah.
this season. Still would be a great option. Could fake it in center field, no issues. I would do it. You do five for 60, not five, 4 for 60, 4 for 68. You give the contract the Marlins offered Marte, I would do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
you have
do
control.
Go for it, Landius.
I do have to remind you that I believe he was given a qualified offer which was rejected.
Yeah,
Yes,
for Conforto. So that means
that,
if the
that's why.
Marlins were to get him, they would have to
That's
give up
why.
a draft pick.
And
Yeah,
I also need to remind you that the Marlins have the sixth overall pick this coming year.
Mm, huge year for them, and that
is this the year of the draft lottery or no?
I
I don't
believe that
remember.
begins next year. I'd have to look back at that. That's a nice question. With the with time back to the whole free agency thing. Um, Phillies getting Castellanos is just goes to show it's like a middle finger to the face to the Marlins. It's plain and it's right in front of you guys. I mean, the Marlins aren't doing anything, nothing at all. Like there's no vision right now. Uh, there's no goal. Like what is the goal with this team right now? Like they have a farm system to work with. They have depth. They have money, as this guy right here said. But where is it? Every single fan on my Instagram account, all Marlins, I posted stories. I said, "Do you guys believe in this guy?" I even made a whole post about him. Do you guys think he's going to keep his word? Every Marlins fan has been through this. Jeffrey Loria was more than enough. Liars don't fit in Miami.
Didn't he actually
Um,
spend though? Can
he
we?
did spend. He did spend.
He
You got to
spent.
give him credit there. He spent. But were the
There it is.
promises really kept? That's the thing. And Marlins fans have been through this. They're not going to believe it until they see it. Word actions speak louder than words for Marlins fans. It's as easy as that. Any other rants or comments you guys want to add on to that?
No, I
Well, I could
mean,
say, oh, you go first.
no. You go ahead. That's
Well,
fine.
I can just say that Nick Castellanos is gonna work fine with the Phillies. He's going to hit. He's going to continue to hit home runs to deep left field for as long as they have him.
Yep, yep,
So now what's the
absolutely.
lineup looking like? How's that outfield? Because I assume Shore was a DH. Nick is probably going to left. Your center fielder, I think you're gonna platoon Vierling and someone else. Harper's in right. First is Reese Hoskins. Second is it's probably some good player. Gene Segura. Your shortstop is Didi. Your third baseman is Alec Boehm.
Wow,
Catcher
Bohm to
wait,
short.
no, Boehm the third.
Mm.
Your shorts and your catcher is Realmuto. That team that team was really damn close to making the playoffs last season.
Mm. Mm.
Without Castellanos. Imagine now, and you're gonna have probably top 3 guys in the top 5, top 10 in home run hitting this year. Home run leaders. You're probably gonna have 3 in the top 5. That's how good the Phillies are gonna be, and I hate the Phillies. But you got to respect them, man. You got to respect all these teams in the division making moves to get better each year. And it's just a coincidence that all these teams actually spend the money.
Right. Right.
Because the Marlins don't. I mean, if you put the Marlins in another division, like we were mentioning, the AL Central, we'd be a good team.
And what's next? Like Soler, and there's been many tweets in Marlins Twitter saying this guy doesn't fit in this team. We're gonna be paying bucks for Soler for something that Cooper already does. If we put
Craig
him in the
Mitchell,
outfield,
welcome.
we didn't get a center fielder. We haven't gotten a center fielder. So what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, um, it's it's just painful to see, the whole division. As much as we banter them in many occasions, we can't really speak for ourselves anymore because they're doing what we're not, and they're buying. They're building a team that wants to win, especially in a long, um, how do you say this? Extended bracket for the postseason. The Phillies haven't been to the postseason in pretty long time. You know, the Braves are they're insane. The Mets bought everybody. The Nationals got Nelson Cruz, and we're out here getting Williams Astudillo. What's next? I mean, any options you guys want to throw out?
Soler, that's it.
It's really
It's
it.
either Soler or Conforto. That's it. Last 2 options. Unless you really want to trade for Laureano, which I would 100% do. Those are the last 3 options I see for the Marlins, man. When it comes to the outfield,
Hmm?
um, it's a dead market, man. I mean, Jock Peterson would have been a nice fit. Wouldn't have been the best one, but he plays center field, so it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you really want to deep dig, you want to get deep. Tommy Pham, like that's to the point we're getting to. In 2019, Tommy Pham would have been a great signing, not now.
Right.
So,
I
I
agree with
mean,
that. Any
the
on that you
Marlins
want
are
to add?
such a weird position.
Jesus.
I just wanted to go back on the thing that Kevin was wondering about the draft lottery before I say anything.
Yeah.
The draft lottery does start in 2023.
Okay, so yes, the Marlins have 6 pick. Very good.
Okay.
Very good for 6
Well-
pick. Right.
Yeah, and I think on Fish Stripes, we're already starting the draft coverage. So, shameless plug. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Check out Fish Stripes. Amazing stuff. Those guys live Marlins baseball. I mean, go give them some love.
My sources say that's true.
But Landius, anything you want to add?
Well, I got nothing.
I wanted to talk about the front office is clearly they have an inability to do anything. They're just sitting there on their thumbs waiting for something to happen, and all the teams around us in our division are getting better. Now
Yep.
we have to think that maybe with all these teams getting better in our division, we might have a 4th or 5th place finish again. Look at the Mets.
Yeah.
The Mets got Marte, and they have
Anna.
everybody else that they have already. Then you got the Braves. They signed Jansen. They signed Olsen. They're gonna have Acuna come back at some point this year, on top of all the other guys they have, and then you also have the Nationals. Not that good of a team, but they made some moves with getting
You
Nelson
never know.
Cruz.
At this point, they could be better than the Marlins. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Although we destroy them today, but you never know.
Like, definitely our pitching is better than the Nats, but there's going to be days where the pitching is not going to be in its A game.
Now the Phillies have Schwarber, Castellanos. You add that to Harper and everybody else that they have, and we could be looking at
Wow.
last place again.
Wow,
if we don't make
that's
something else happen.
that's painful. I mean, a simple yes or no question. Are you guys starting to feel concerned for this rebuild?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
feeling concerned. There's no, as I've said earlier in this stream, there's no vision. Like what are they trying to do, right?
Yeah.
But let's start wrapping things up. Some final expectations. What do you think is gonna happen? When are we gonna make a move? What's going on?
Let's go and let's say they'll make the next move probably this weekend. Actually, not this weekend. They have a lot of games. They have what? One game this weekend or two?
I think it's one. I think they do have an off day somewhere in
Okay,
the middle of.
so maybe Monday through Wednesday. Give them time. They'll make a move then. I hope. Because Mish said hopefully in a week from now we'll be talking about something positive, and hopefully that's a good move.
Hmm.
Hot take. I said this on Fish Stripes Live. You know it. Lewin Diaz gets traded for Loriano.
Wow.
That's my
Okay.
hot take. And that's about it, man. Thank you for having me. I'm, you let me know, bro,
Yep.
because this is something I kind of pushed you into doing, and it's going well.
No, I
And I'm
appreciate it. I
I'm
appreciate
glad I
it.
was part of this.
Absolutely. Jesus, you want to throw your final expectations, some hot takes? I'm gonna go in order.
Um, expectations. Oof, that's a bit of a tough one. As for a hot take, as for moves for expectations, maybe something could be done next week. And that's a maybe, a big maybe. As for hot takes, if we don't really sign anybody of quality, like a Reynolds or Loriano or somebody in free agency, then I can see this team heading for another last place finish.
And Landius, what do you got?
I already gave you my hot take earlier in the pod. But what I will say one thing is for sure. Like my biggest fear for this my biggest fear is when we start entering into the final days before opening day, we still don't have a center fielder.
Hmm.
My biggest fear is that the Marlins will start getting desperate and trade their whole farm away for Loriano. And I'm
Right.
sorry, like I like Loriano. I think he's good, but is he like Brian Reynolds?
Right. And it goes to show the type of impact these type of players have on this team, right? But I'll wrap it up and I'll say my final expectations is that this team will probably stay inactive as it's been, maybe for another week or two, and um, it's it's gonna be a tough time. Hang on there, Marlins fans. For hot takes, um, I do believe like the number one guy of focus for me has been Jesus Luzardo for some reason. I've also said that Jesus Sanchez will break out before Jazz Chisholm Jr. That's been one of my big takes there. Next on our Marlins, we will be posting some interesting content. I got a full list of every single Marlins player who's played and at least was born in a foreign country. So Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, you're going to be seeing the top guns from each nation be represented in a very special post coming up soon. Definitely more of these shows will start to pop up. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, I mean, be on the lookout. Lots of stuff is definitely going to be done. The Marlins, not so much as of right now, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you all for joining us. From myself, Landius, Kevin Barral, and Jesus, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in.
It's 2 for 23 this season. Drives it to left. Morrison back, turning. Oh my goodness, he drops the ball. Lee on his way to third, and he is safe. And the ninth inning is unraveling for the